Good morning. So I've got a bit of a lag here on my laptop. I don't know if I've just said good morning twice or not, but all right, guys. I am back streaming in HD quality. I know I've had issues with this in the past. If this attempt fails, I'm going to completely give up. But I've been doing a bit of research. I think I know what I was doing wrong. I'm not going to bore you with all the technical stuff, but basically I run this through a MacBook Pro, which has more than one graphics card, and for power saving, it switches between graphics cards, and when it does that, it makes the frames freeze. I've figured out how to switch that off so it doesn't keep switching between different graphics cards, so we should be good. But let me know if there's any issues. Do we look okay? Not me, but does the picture look okay? Does it sound okay? I wasn't planning on doing a live stream today, but then this turned up and I was so excited about it, I just had to get it on the table and show you guys. So man, my chat seems really far behind here. Let's see if I open it in another tab, if it's any. If it's any better. Awesome. Picture and sound is good. Excellent. George Aitken has got, what, you've got 5 of these, George? 5 headquarters? Man, where do you keep them all? Yeah, Sal's saying there's about a 3 to 5 second delay from creator to chat. I actually think it's a bit more than that on this one, but that's all good. I'll still catch your questions. Kieran Ball, how you doing? Brian Stevenson, big shout out to Sal from 2 Cents Toys. Punisher XX, XS, Dr. X. Chris 82, is the command center solid enough with the cardboard, or is it flimsy bits? No, the cardboard's actually quite thick. It's probably about 3 millimeters thick, and it's very sturdy. And the way it's all assembled, it holds everything in place pretty good. It's a little bit kind of rickety when you're assembling it, but once you get it assembled, and then you get all of the plastic clips in the bottom, which are the same clips off the Palitoy Death Star, it's nice and sturdy. Jody says he had a discussion with George Aitken on Facebook. That gun turret is even worse than the headquarter front-mounted artillery. Gotta hate being the one. Yeah, I saw your comments about that on Facebook, Jody. At least with this, they could actually, if they were articulated anyway, they could crouch down into the firing position. So, Ghost of Pine says he loves the show 100%. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Behind the Jeep on the headquarters is a graphic that looks exactly like a TIE fighter wing. Well, it does. It does. That's the door into the deep sea diver chamber. Let's see if I'm not going to do that now. I don't want to break it. That's a cardboard door that actually opens. It's supposed to be. It does look like a TIE fighter wing. I haven't really had much of an opportunity to take a good look at this. This is a toy that I desperately wanted when I was a child and never actually got. Gary's Action Man channel. Have you got the Action Force LRDG figure? Yes, this is him here, Gary. Although for Action Force, they called him the Desert Rat. And for some reason, they gave him an M60 machine gun, which wasn't even invented during World War II, but there you go. Knights of Ren says, great video on the Black Series Hoth Rebel Trooper, Tony. I'm a huge collector of Black Series 6-inch figures. Thank you very much. There will be another Black Series video coming sometime. I've got a couple of other videos I want to do first, but I've got the Black Series Snowspeeder, and I really want to do a video about that toy. So Jody says that crouching is not allowed by social distancing. That would break the rule of 2 soldiers maintaining the needed distance. Yeah. Yes, Patton, I did read Beano comics when I was a kid. Salvador, I'd love to see someone 3D print these cardboard playsets. As much as I'd love to own the Palatoy Death Star, I'd be terrified of ripping it or somehow getting it wet. Yeah, it would be good if people could recreate this. It wouldn't be very difficult, I don't think. You know, you just need a large printer and the right size card stock and a big scanner, and yeah, you could make. And I'm pretty sure there's not many plastic parts on this, but though the plastic parts that are on here are quite simple, and it would be very, very easy to 3D print these. There's not too much detail to them. You need to remember, you know, this was made in 1982, so. Black Chandelier Mirage. Soldiers having gas masks just makes it way more cooler. Hence why I just love the SAS. Kind of reminds me of Wolf Brigade too. Yes, but as a soldier who has had to wear a gas mask for nuclear, biological, chemical warfare training, things like that, I will say that wearing a gas mask around for a long period of time is not a very comfortable experience. Zan Jaina says, will I cover how flimsy the Snowspeeder is? I'm not sure what you mean. I didn't think it was very flimsy. I thought it was quite a solid, robust toy. George Aitken says, Michael at Retro Blasting was shocked by the gift box that he sent him. I'm sure he was, George. I know what's in it because I saw the toys on the Patreon after show. But as soon as this stream's finished, I'm going to go back and watch the Retro Blasting live stream. But there's also UFC on this morning, so I don't think this is going to be an exceedingly long live stream. But yeah, I will be watching it sometime today. Jody says, near the ladder, there's a hole in the floor, trapdoor to nowhere. What is that for? I have no idea, Jody. Good question. I have no idea. Phil Chadwick says, Battle Action Force was a precursor to Action Force. It was hyper-realistic. Yeah, and I've got an issue here of Battle Action Force that was very kindly gifted to me by Bob Breakin, who was the original, one of the designers of the Action Force line, but he was actually, I think he was the brand manager for Action Force, or the design manager, something like that. Ah, very clever, George. So George is telling Jody, so there's a winch on the side of the ladder and there's a hole there. It's so you can actually lower the winch through the hole. So I suppose if you put this on the table and and hung that part just over the edge, you can actually lower the winch through the hole. Very clever. So there's a lot to show you on this play set, but we'll kind of leave that to a little bit later. I want to show you some of the other things that we've got here. Well, first of all, so Gary was just asking about the Action Force LRDG. So I've explained this in a number of videos before, but the reason Palatoy brought out Action Force in 1982 is that prior to that, their most popular toy line was the 12-inch Action Man. And I've got the Action Man LRDG here. But with the introduction of Star Wars toys, which were actually sold in the UK by Palatoy under license from Kenner, it changed the play patterns of young children, and they now were more interested in 3 3/4 inch scaled figures with vehicles that they could interact with. So Palatoy decided, although they continued making Action Man into 1982 and up to 1984, they decided to shrink Action Man down. So the first series, 1982, which I don't have the complete set here, but I'm getting close. I've made a few other purchases that are en route at the moment, and I've pretty much got the whole set, and then there will be a video about Action Force 1982. But what they did for the first year was take some of the best-selling Action Man outfits and shrink them down, which is why we've got the LRDG and the Desert Rat here. I didn't bring down every example, Well, for starters, I don't have the orange Frogman. I'm not a fan of collecting Action Man Frogman because the rubber suits perish over time and you're just throwing your money away. But I brought a few other examples. So here's the Action Man Commando figure. And here's the Action Force Commando. Uniform looks very, very similar. But the Action Force version, he has a radio backpack and a Sten gun, whereas this guy doesn't have the radio and he has an M60 machine gun instead. Jody, thank you very much for the super chat. Just cause, says Jody. Let's catch some questions here. Keith Holmesley, Tony, do you have any USS flag? I always struggle to pronounce USS flag. Or Eternia parts laying around I can purchase from you. I do not have a single part from either of those, Keith, but I get the joke as well. And I certainly am not interested in purchasing a Eternia playset, but I am interested in... I probably wouldn't go out and purchase a big USS flag because I struggle... Well, they just don't turn up in Australia, but maybe I'll spend the next 10 to 15 years piecing it together by purchasing one piece at a time. Gary's Action Man channel saying Action Man Commando is a classic outfit. Yes, it is a classic outfit. It's one of my favourites. But so many of the Action Man outfits were classics, weren't they? All right. Yeah. So when they brought Action Man, when they shrunk Action Man down to the 3 3/4 inch scale in 1982 to introduce Action Force, this is a first series card back. When they went into 1983 and 1984, that's when we started to see the introduction of the teams. So the Q Force, Space Force, Z Force, and on the front of the card back, it would have the logo of the team. But the first series had a picture of a number of the different figures on there. And again, this example was also very kindly donated by Bob Breakin. I've got a few bits laying down here as well I want to show you later on, but... King Eric the Greatest of All says that Scuba Pete will send me a flag. Right, Scuba Pete has already donated more than enough to this channel with the incredible Carson City playset, which is up there. You guys can't see it, but it's up there behind me at the top of my Lone Ranger collection. I promise you, Scuba, there will be a video about that. It won't be in the near future because I want to do a bit of restoration to that toy first, but there will be a video about that. That is a big playset. Brian Stevenson says the flag does not float. It does on the G.I. Joe Berg channel. Epic Badger, he loves the AF3 Jeep, probably my favourite vehicle between Action Force and G.I. Joe. So much playability. Well, my favourite Action Force vehicle, if it's around here, is actually the AF9. Now, the AF9 came with the Royal Marine Mountain and Arctic figure and a number of accessories. I've just got the shell of the vehicle. I've actually got two of these. But I do have a nice complete example on its way that I purchased from Gary Atkinson. The reason that this is my favourite Action Force toy is because I have a very distinct childhood memory of this. I had to go into hospital when I was about 5. 1982, I would have been about 5 years old. I had to go to hospital for an operation for an undescended testicle, where I was actually had my abdomen cut open, had my testicle removed, and then don't want to be gross or anything like that, but I don't remember the operation. I don't remember the pain I was in or anything like that. My dad recounts the story quite emotionally, seeing that the pain that I was in at 5 years of age. But what I do remember is waking up in hospital after this operation and my parents giving me the AF9 and the Mountain and Arctic figure, which came on a big card back, a deluxe card back. So with the mini vehicle and the figure, and he came with a backpack, he came with a Sten gun and a rifle, a pair of skis, ski poles. There was an antenna for the AF5. Came with a lot of cool accessories, and I'm really, really looking forward to reacquiring the AF9, which is currently winging its way in the post from the UK to here from my good buddy Gary Atkinson. Keith Holmesley says he has the same surgery. Yeah, look, it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's something that happens to people. I'm actually quite proud of it. I have a scar probably 6 inches long straight across my abdomen. So... Scuba Pete says this live stream just got nuts. Yeah, literally, it just got nuts. Epic Badger here, I think he's talking about the AF3 here. He bought the Jeep from a seller in the UK. I think it was the Z-Force Jeep because of the paint job. Surprised, I removed the paint. I still love it, but I hope to find a Z-Force Jeep on eBay one day. Yeah, the Z-Force Jeeps are one of the cheaper Z-Force vehicles to actually acquire. So, so Tony, all you have to get the flag is King Eric the Great. I think if I had 2 undescended testicles and I had to do both of them, my parents would never buy me a flag back in the day. Anyway. Craig Plays 12. How do I get all that stuff? I buy it on eBay, Facebook groups, that kind of thing. Yes, the Z-Force Jeep was just very kindly donated to the Retroblasting YouTube channel from our buddy George Aitken. George is everybody's buddy. Black Chandler Mirage. What is the cheapest Action Force vehicle to get? That's hard to say. I'm not sure. But I would probably say maybe the Space Force Satellite Defense, I think, would maybe be the cheapest. It's also one of the smallest, though, as well. Yes, Brian, I have seen Toy Ploy's restoration of the Killer Whale. Excellent. He did an excellent job on that. Les Sharp, yes, Palatoy should have used that base and retooled it for Space Force. I also had a guy message me on the Facebook page today sharing some photographs, which I have actually seen on a couple of other Facebook groups. I can't remember what Facebook group. But where basically, where you've got the cardboard Palatoy Death Star, and Kenner and Palatoy notoriously never made a playset for Bespin. Well, this very ingenious creator has basically taken the shell of the Action Force headquarters and reprinted the parts, and he's making it into a Bespin playset, which I think is just incredible. The photos look absolutely amazing. So, and this here, I purchased this on eBay only a few weeks ago from Spain. It arrived reasonably quickly. I was looking for a headquarters playset, but this was actually a childhood collection that had the majority of the headquarters playset. I think it's only missing one part, which I'm been able to source. I don't have it yet, but it's on its way. But it also came with the AF5, which this vehicle does have a few issues, but I can get those fixed. It came with an AF3, which I already had, but it had a few figures. And it was one of those, it had an incomplete AF7. And although it was incomplete, the few parts that it did have were the parts that I needed to complete the one I already had. So it was one of those excellent purchases where I got a headquarters playset, but then all these additional parts, the majority of which I actually needed to complete other toys. And when I made it was a buy it now on eBay, I paid the money, buy it now. Started speaking to the seller. It turns out that he was some kind of artist, a graphic artist or something. Lived in Madrid, Spain. This was his childhood collection of Action Force that he was very reluctantly selling. I think he needed the money, but He really didn't want to lose his childhood collection. And my username on eBay is analogtoys77. When I purchased it, he emailed me straight away and said, "Oh, are you the same Analog Toys, from the YouTube channel?" I said, "Yeah, I am." And he was absolutely overjoyed because he was very reluctantly letting go of his childhood collection, and just really pleased to know that it was going to come to a collection like this, and that it would be immortalized in the future in a YouTube video. So I'm really looking forward to giving this man's childhood collection the credit it deserves in that video. King Eric the Greatest of All, was the box in Spanish? No, the box wasn't in Spanish. I've got the box here. It's not perfect, the box, but it's there. Some of the flaps on one end are broken, but let's give you guys a look at that. It's all in English, this box. And on the back there, it shows you some of the features. One of the cool things I really like about this is that a lot of the figures shown on the front there are not the finished production figures. They're early painted prototypes. All right, let's catch up with some questions. Jody's asking if I can scan the parts in 1:1 scale. Jody, I've only got an A4 scanner. I've got an A3 scanner at work that I can use, but I don't know if any of these are possibly even bigger than A3. But yeah, I potentially could scan them if anyone needs them. I'd be happy to do that. King Eric the Greatest. Tony is famous even in Spain. I'm surprised sometimes, guys, where I've actually got a lot of Argentinian supporters because of the video I did about South American Rambo toys. I have a bit of a following in Argentina as well. So, any interest in the new Valaverse Action Force figures? Seems to be Action Force in name only. No, I am aware of Valaverse. Well, I wasn't until about a week ago. Someone on Facebook put me onto the Valaverse stuff. I'm not overly interested in it, no. Zanjana would be interested in that scan. Look, actually, that's something I might do. If I can... first of all, I need to figure out... Well, that box is bigger than A3, I think. Looks slightly longer, but... I'll take some measurements. I'll take it into work and see if it will fit on the scanner at work. And if it will, I won't do it during work hours because my colleagues will think I'm a bit weird. But I might just go into work on a Saturday when there's not many people around and take all the parts in, and I'll scan them all and create a PDF or something, and you can have it free on the channel. Not something I want to sell or anything like that. I'll just give it to you guys for free. So. Lee Sharp says it's sweet that I got the box. That's got to be very rare. Yeah, I wasn't too bothered about getting a boxed example, but as I said, when this said it came with about, I think it had about 6 or 7 figures, a number of figures that I needed. It came with 3 vehicles. The playset was like 99.9% complete. And then it had a few accessories for other figures, some quite rare accessories, like the blue Thompson submachine gun that I need for the Australian Jungle Fighter. So, Jody, thank you very much for the super chat. Just Cause Mark II. TK421 says there's a guy online called Eric Stormtrooper who has scanned in the base parts. You can download them from his site. He also has the Palatoy Death Star parts. Oh, cool. Oh, well, if do you know what site he's on, or is his site called Eric Stormtrooper? Because if someone's already done it, I won't go to the effort of doing it all over again. But yeah, I posted a photo of this on Facebook yesterday, and then obviously announced the live stream, and a lot of people were commenting like, "Oh, that looks like the Palatoy Death Star." Well, it's not a coincidence, because the Palatoy Death Star, and I want to make sure I get this right, and apologies to Bob Breakin if I get this wrong. I think a lot of people believe that Bob Breakin came up with the idea for the cardboard Palitoy Death Star. I don't think he came up with the idea, but he did design it. But it was something that he was sort of told by marketing, like, "Hey, go and make this," because they didn't want to bring the Kenner Death Star to the UK market because of the size of the tooling. So they brought the tooling for the figures and the smaller vehicles, and then decided to make their own cardboard Death Star. So when then Bob Breakin then went on to the design team for Action Force a few years later, and they were looking for a headquarters, he took the kind of parts of the design and the concept, I suppose you'd say. He took the concept of the Palitoy Death Star and made the Action Force headquarters. Some parts of this are exactly the same. So the plastic escape chute from the Death Star, where they escape the detention block, that's included here. It's moulded in a brown plastic similar to this machine gun position here. But it's called an ammo supply chute, where they drop ammunition cases down it. Bronze Age of Comics. I'm not clear. Did Action Force have a storyline and cartoons like G.I. Joe? The first year of Action Force didn't have a storyline. The storyline began the following year in 1983 when Action Force became the teams fighting against Baron Ironblood and the Red Shadows. And you could follow that storyline in the Battle Action Force comics like you see here. But there was never a cartoon for it. Dr. X, thank you very much for the super chat. No question, but I really appreciate it. And I also appreciate all the people who've recently joined Patreon. I posted a video yesterday just kind of announcing all of the different, not changes so much, the additions to the Patreon. And we've had a number of new people join the Patreon overnight, so I appreciate that. Including Gary's Action Man channel, who's in the chat, so... Salvador, thank you much for the very generous super chat. I have a tall boy and a smoke on me. Okay, cool. I'm not sure what a tall boy is, but I think I can. I think I can have a good guess. Yeah. If it's what I think it is, I had a few tall boys and a few smokes last night myself. But I didn't have too late at night. I was actually up pretty early this morning. I wanted to get up early and watch the end of the Retro Blasting live stream without George's box, but I was still a bit tired at that. But I was able to get up and watch like the second half of the after show. So, Jody, the Palitoy Death Star came first, I think, around 1979, and this one came after in 1982. Craig plays, do I fix old action figures when they start to fall apart? They don't start falling apart. Like I do enjoy repairing figures. I don't do as many restoration videos on this channel as I actually do restorations, because restoration videos are very hard to film without a cameraman. You know, these videos I can just set the camera up and film myself, but with the restoration videos, obviously I need to be doing things and showing things, and you need the camera to be able to move around, so it's quite difficult. I do enjoy restoring toys, and sometimes I'll happily like this AF5. This is complete, but it's got a few issues. The chair is broken, one of the thrusters, the joint is broken, it needs a bit of a clean, some of the stickers are damaged. I'll take off the damaged stickers, reprint stickers and replace them. But I'll never go out and get a minty complete AF5, because this came from a childhood collection of someone who I now have, conversed with, and I would rather restore this and keep this in my collection. So, Retro Blasting says the setup is glorious. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate that. I wasn't planning on doing a live stream, and I got this 2 days ago, and it's been sitting in the studio, and I was like, man, there will be a full feature video coming on Action Force 1982, but I had to show you guys this first. And Gary's Action Man channel is currently restoring a Scout car. Gary, are you restoring or customizing? I've seen some really good customs of some Action Man Scout cars in the past, where they paint them in camouflage colours, maybe turn them into a German field vehicle or something like that. All right, I want to show you guys a bit more of this play set. But before I do that, I think I need to get some of these toys out of the way. So I'm very, very pleased to now complete my AF7. It's actually surprising how difficult it is to fully complete this toy. But the parts I was missing was the black bung that goes into the back of the flotation collar. I was missing the neck for the claws, and I was missing the hose pipe for when the deep sea dive. It goes in the top of his helmet when he goes through the dive platform. But I've now completed this toy, and I'm very pleased with that. The AF3 Jeep. I now have 2 of these. The cool thing with this, you can remove the roof. The roof turns into a boat. There's an outboard motor. There's an outboard motor. It comes with a paddle or an oar, whatever you call it. I've now got 2 of these nice and complete, so I don't know if I'll do anything with the other one or if I'll just keep them both, probably. Some of the figures we got here. So that's the, I think in Action Force they called that 2-para. But the Action Man version was just the Parachute Regiment. So again, an example of them taking a really popular Action Man uniform and scaling it down to the 3 3/4 inch size. Now this figure is one of my favourites. This is very, very cool. This is the German Stormtrooper. I had one of these already with the rifle, but it was missing the other accessories. I don't know how well you can see. That's probably going to be hard to see. I'll post a photo on Facebook afterwards. He also comes with an entrenching tool and 2 like potato masher grenades, moulded in blue plastic, weirdly. But I've actually sticky tape those to the figure stand so I don't lose them. I don't want them to roll off. I had this figure already, but he only had the rifle. He didn't have the hand grenades and stuff. But George Aitken very kindly donated this to the channel. And one of the things I really like about this is the action figure that was missing from the Kenner Adventures of Indiana Jones line. They needed a German soldier in that line. So if you can get yourself an Action Force one, it really bolsters your Kenner Indiana Jones collection. Who else? Obviously we've got the first series SAS guide here. My all-time favourite Action Force figure. The difference between this guy and the ones that came out in '83 is in 1983 and 1984 he had I'm stuttering now. He had SAS, the letters printed on each shoulder of his combat uniform in a yellow colour. The original version is all in black, apart from obviously the grey flash hood. Very, very, very cool figure. I always get the names of these guys mixed up. We've got the mission pilot or the helicopter pilot. One's the mission pilot, one's the helicopter pilot. I don't know. But scaled down versions of the Action Man helicopter pilot figure. Yes, Jody, I did just say potato mashing grenades. The grenades that the Germans, the German army in World War II used stick grenades, which were a grenade mounted onto a wooden handle so they could properly toss them, and people nicknamed them potato masher grenades because it looks like a potato masher. I don't know. There's any more figures hanging around here? Well, here we've got the Action Man ground assault outfit. Again, another scaled down version. I prefer the Action Force version of this. I like that it's kind of all in tan as opposed to having like the dark grey helmet, boots and gloves. This is all in tan with a bit of camouflage. So another very cool figure, which I think I've got like 3 of these now. I think George sent me one. I got another one in an older eBay lot I purchased, and then a nice complete one came with this set as well. So I'm very happy to get that. Keith Holmesley, Tony, the Rambo figures you did for Spain, is that the 3 3/4 inch ones? Nah, Keith, I did are you talking about the video I did? It was for South America. I've always been a Rambo fan, like not just of the toys. I've been a huge fan of Stallone and the movies and all of that kind of thing growing up. And as I got into analog toys and into collecting and everything, I started to learn that there was a lot of the Coleco Rambo figures were released in South America. The toys were available for far longer than what they were in the United States and the UK. And as the years progressed, they did some awesome variations. They came out with the Rambo Desert Brigade. There was all kinds of weird and wonderful stuff, including Rambo and the Force of Freedom themed wrestling. If you haven't seen that, look it up on YouTube. Go onto YouTube and look for Rambo and the Force of Freedom wrestling, and you'll be blown away by actually seeing these guys getting into a ring dressed as Colonel Troutman and General Warhawk and Black Dragon and wrestling. It's bizarre. Oh, dropped apart. Anything else in here? There's the Night Patrol figure, which is kind of like a combination of, it's like the body of the ground assault, the helmet of the mission pilot, painted in black. He's not part of the SAS, but a pretty cool figure all the same. Lee Sharp, what do you think of Rambo Last Blood? I really liked it. What about you guys? I hated it, man. I'm sorry. It wasn't a Rambo movie. It was, yes, it was Stallone, but it wasn't Rambo. I just couldn't the whole way. I watched that movie in the cinema last September, October. Went on holiday to Thailand to see Gracie's family, and I went to see the movie in the cinema. It was on, just been released when I was over there, and it was the extended version where we got the opening scene of him, rescuing these hikers on the side of the mountain in the storm. But I watched that whole movie, just going what am I watching? This isn't Rambo. This is Jason Voorhees or something. Anyway. Yeah, Phil Chadwick. So if I were to tell you my Rambo movies in order of preference, it would be probably First Blood, Rambo 3, Rambo or Rambo 4, and then Rambo First Blood Part 2. And I'm not even going to put Last Blood on the list because it's not a Rambo movie. Slinky Tortoise is asking if I've heard the Action Force audio story tape about the Kraken. I could put it on MP3 if not. No, I haven't, man. If you can, if you could put that on MP3, that would be awesome. I'd really like to not just hear that myself, but share that with the wider community. That would be really cool. I don't know why it's called Rambo. Why it isn't called Rambo Second Blood. I don't know. Anyway, alright, I think I've got all the figures out of the way here. Because what I want to do, guys, I want to show you some of the features of this playset. Let's get that AF5 down there. Okay. So moving around, this is a training center. There should be like a flying fox type thing coming off here. Obviously I've got nothing to tie that to. I can't set that up. But this turret, these turrets, you can put on different parts of the playset. You can stand them on the ground. I've even seen a photograph of it upside down, like a defensive position where they put the cannons on the top like that. So a little bit pretty versatile. Quite a basic little structure, but Ah, there we go. So there's the doorway into the deep sea diver chamber. It's supposed to go this way. It goes that way. So then you can see the details there of the deep sea diver chamber. This corridor here, which they call a, what do they call it? I can't read that on the box. But this part is very, very similar to a part of the Palatoy Death Star. Moving around this side. This is where the AF9 is parked. There's a ladder here for moving up to the top to the helipad, which you can see just there. Then in here, this is supposed to be like the jail cell. If you can see in there, that's the what on the Palatoy Death Star is the escape chute. Here it's the ammunition chute. Around here, this is where they can drop ammunition down to the lower deck. I can't. I'm trying to show you guys, but I can't see from my side. And that's the quartermaster store in there. A really cool part of this playset, which they didn't incorporate into the Palatoy Death Star, is that the helipad actually flips up like so and comes out to become an enormous runway. I don't know how well can you see that. So you've got a helicopter landing pad and a runway, and then you've actually got a better access to the inside. So there was different ways you could play with this toy. You could have it collapsed up like so, or have it opened up, you know, where you can get the AF5 can come down and land. Very cool. Jody's saying to George Aitken, I think the playset only came with 2 guns, yet Tony has 3. When I bought this lot, because these guns were quite generic and they came on a lot of the vehicles, Jody. When I bought this lot, it had the AF3 Jeep, it had the AF5, it had the AF7. So it came with a number of these, and I wasn't sure if the turrets came with 2 or 1 gun. I'm sure I can figure it out, but I haven't taken the time to do that yet. So I put 2 on one turret and 1 on the other. It's a damn cool playset though, isn't it? Very cool. Also in that set, I got the Royal Marine action figure, which is basically just a repaint of the paratrooper. So he's got a green beret instead of a red beret, and he's got camouflage all over his uniform, whereas the para's got camouflage smock and green trousers. I don't have the accessories, but I've purchased them from Gary Atkinson, and they're on the way. I bought a lot of. After I bought this slot, I spoke to Gary Atkinson and basically with a wants list and organised a bit of a deal and just purchased all the different parts and pieces that I needed to complete, or mostly complete, Action Force 1982. How long have we been going for? 45 minutes, okay. Is it completely cardboard? He's asking Impossible Pie. No, well, so the machine gun turrets are plastic. This ladder here is plastic, but there are plastic clips each part here. There must be around 12 or 16 of these plastic clips that are required to hold the upright part of the structure onto the base. And that was my main concern when purchasing this playset, was that some of those would be missing, and they're all intact, so I'm very pleased. This bit with the AF9, it's got an opening flap there. I'm still learning about the play features of this toy myself, so very cool. Keith Holmesley says, Tony, did you see my Firefly classified figure? Yes, I did, Keith. Is that a custom taken from a Fortnite figure? That's pretty cool. Impossible Pie says, very colourful and looks fantastic. Yeah, it's very good. George Aitken, the runway was meant for the AF5. Yeah, I didn't know that for certain, but just folding out and looking at it, I was like, yeah, I'm assuming this is for the AF5. The AF5 is very cool as well. It's called the AF5 is the multi-mission craft, where the wings fold in and clip in. I'm not going to play with this because this is quite fragile and needs a bit of repair. But the wings fold in, clip in. It can just become a ground vehicle. Obviously, it can become a flying vehicle with the wings out. You can also fit the flotation collar around it for it to become an amphibious vehicle. Lots of playability, a very cool toy. And the kind of mould for which was later used for the Shadow Track and part of the Cosmic Cruiser as well for Space Force and the Red Shadows. George Aitken saying it's starting to jump a bit. Yeah, the stream seems to like doing that after about 45 minutes, and that's disappointing. All right, I want to go watch UFC anyway. What I'm going to do first is open this quickly. This is from... I can't read the name. It's a signature there, I can't read. It's from the UK, so... Scuba Pete, thank you very much for the super chat. This is such a great design on this piece. Was there any pre-production models pics different than what we see? More than likely. I'll be speaking to Bob Breakin to see if I can share some of that kind of thing in the upcoming video. What have we got here? So there's no leather included. Who is this from? Venkman, thank you for the super chat. So that looks pretty sweet, Tony. It does. What's this? Ah, we got Black Series. We've got a Black Series. Sand Trooper. Ah, now apologies if you're in the chat, my man. I get so many messages from people, I can't remember who's who. But someone reached out to me on Facebook and wanted to send me this Black Series figure. I can't get his legs to stand. That's a pretty sweet figure. Now I'm in trouble because this is from the Empire Strikes Back, and I said I was only collecting Empire Strikes Back figures. But it's also included here all the accessories. So 2 different heavy blasters, the light blaster. We've got the pouches to go on the shoulder, the backpack. This is very cool. Very cool. What I'll do is get this figure together, take a photo and post it on Facebook. And thank you very much to the person who donated this. I'm really sorry. I don't remember your name. Yeah, Jody, every time after 45 minutes, I don't know what is going on. I think the video capture card that I'm using, I just need to get rid of it and potentially get something a little bit better. I probably need to go out and purchase the same device that Retroblasting uses. I just haven't got around to it yet. It's about $400, $500 here in Australia, so I need to think about what I'm going to do there. All right, guys, I hope you're all having a fantastic week. I'm working on another top 10 video where I'm going to do the top 10 action figure toy lines of the 80s. The intro is actually already filmed and edited. It's a very, very different intro to anything you've seen before on this channel. And I really enjoy it, and I think it's going to do quite well on the channel. I've got a little bit of the script to finish, but the top 10 scripts are pretty easy for me because I don't really have to follow any kind of a set structure. Basically, each different entry, I've got to write 2 or 3 paragraphs, kind of sum up that toy line and my thoughts. So it shouldn't take me too long to finish the script for that, and I want to film it today. Hopefully, I reckon Patreon will have it by Tuesday, maybe. All going well, maybe Wednesday. So have a great weekend. I'm going to go and watch UFC. When the UFC's finished, I'm going to watch the Retro Blasting live stream. Watch that back. The whole while with the laptop on my lap, finishing off the script, and then I'll film it this afternoon. So, all right, guys. I hope you enjoyed seeing this. You'll get to see a much better look at this awesome playset in a future video, which I'm going to call the Collector's Guide to Action Force 1982. I've got to wait for a few more bits and pieces to arrive first. So, thanks everyone. Thanks Timothy Ward, my ever faithful moderator, for all the work you do. Great to see you on here. Raul, Raul, this is your childhood collection. I've tried to piece together your AF5. I'm going to be restoring this. So everyone, the guy I purchased this from in Spain, he's actually in the chat. That really, really pleases me. And I promise you, Raul, I'm gonna do your childhood collection real justice when I make the video about Action Force 1982. It's gonna be a whiles away yet. I'm waiting for a few more items to arrive, but you know, certainly before Christmas you're gonna get that video. So great to see you in the chat. I'm really pleased that you were here to view this, and this will not be the last time that your amazing playset appears on the channel. So, okay, guys, have in the top 10. Yeah, that threw me off. Just seeing Raul pop up, that's amazing. So cool in this day and age that, you know, Raul, he's in Madrid, Spain, and I'm in a remote town in the northwest of Australia, and you know, I just purchased something off him on eBay, but you know, these are more than just items when you're talking about childhood collections. So yeah, just one of those things in